Hi everybody, I'm Nicole Masaga, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to draw Leni Robredo on your iPad or any digital device that you may have. Alright, so let's get started. So today I'm going to be using the Autodesk Sketchbook app. So thank you so much to Portia Lapidario for teaching me about this app and how amazing it is. You started my whole digital career journey, so props to you. You can find it on the App Store for Android and Apple. So yes, it is available and it is free. So today we're going to be drawing Miss Leni Robredo. So before starting anything, always make sure to find a really good picture of whoever it is that you are drawing. So for me today, I'm going to be choosing this photo from her Esquire photo shoot. And in terms of color palettes, I use a lot of different colors to generate different portraits of people. So since Leni's campaign is really a lot of pink and bright pink colors, fuchsia and all that, makakam pink, I chose to go with this color palette right here. The first thing that I do when I start a portrait is to identify the darkest sections of the image. So looking at this portrait, it seems that the darkest parts are the bottom parts of her hair, her irises, and some shadows around her face. And for that, we're going to be choosing the darkest color on our color palette, which is the third color starting from the left, this dark talong color. So there you go. Choose that color, pop it in there. Whenever you start going into a specific color, make sure that you are choosing to add a layer for each color that you add. So for every new layer, that is a different color, okay, or a different shade of the same color. So going into another layer, we're going into the next shade above the one that we just chose, and we're going into the next part of the shadows of her face. And we're going to be repeating that same pattern throughout this entire video. Okay, so we're going to speed through the hair. We're going to jump into a different shade, the one directly adjacent to it, yung katabi niya. And then we're going to shade in the next parts of her hair. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to shade in the next darkest parts. Alright, completing the shadow. Now we're going into some facial features. So as you can see, we've started to outline some features of her face to draw in or trace the darkest parts of her eyes. So those are her eyelashes, her eyelids, the nostrils are there, the lip line. So yan. So you're also starting to notice the darkest parts of the picture and just outlining that. So for this, I like to use the smallest possible tip of the pen. You can always adjust it right here, so you can use it at around 1.5 to 1.8. I like to use a 1.8 sometimes. Yeah. So then you're going on to the next shade, you're filling in the rest of the colors. So as you can see, it's starting to get progressively lighter, but we're still in one of the darkest shades of her face, right? So don't worry, it looks crazy right now, but once you step back and look at the big picture later, you'll see how amazing this whole picture will become. What's missing now is her facial features and the lightest parts of her hair, and for that, I decided to go into some pink. So I didn't go for the darkest pink because we're already on the lightest shades of purple. So we decided to go into some lighter shades of pink up here at this moment. And now we're going to jump into her face, which is my favorite part. Alright, so we're going to go into the darkest pink shade here, and we're going to fill in all of her darkest features. So those are the shadows of her lips, her forehead, down by her neck, going through all of that, and then going into other parts of her face that need more definition. So there you go. We're going into the other shadows that are the darkest. So for this, you need to be very conservative with what you define as dark, because often you can consider everything as dark but they're not the same kind of light. Ano bang mas madilim? Ano bang mas dark dito? Pero over time, you'll get it. Just believe in yourself, and if you need to take a step back, click hide here and you'll see how it's going. Alright, so jumping back into our drawing, so we will go and proceed into the lightest parts. So as you will notice here, the more shadows that we are adding, the lighter the picture becomes, right? So the more colors that we're adding, we're actually just going up the ladder of the gradients that we can find in the screen right here. So as you can see, there are parts here that correspond to the shades that we are looking at. So it's really just going one step at a time, taking our time, being very mindful of the different shadows that we're seeing, and taking this time to be with ourselves, you know, appreciating Ma'am Leni's features. Using this to kind of slow down and look at the very little details you can find in somebody's face. So it gets a bit fun from here because we start now to become a bit more generous with the colors that we're adding. So notice we're already starting to cover a lot of her facial features, and that continues on and on, yes, and on. Okay, so now we're at the point where we kind of have a little, just one more shade left to go until we fill the entire face. But instead of doing that, jump into the adjacent colors beside the 9th layer so that we can add a little bit of variety in the face of Ma'am Leni. So you're gonna see a bit of coral here, a bit of orange, but they're all in the same level. So hindi sila ganun kasagwa. Tingnan. It's not that bad when you look at it because it kind of blends together. At this point, you kind of already see what are the lightest, the whitest parts of her face. And with that, this is actually one of my favorite parts because it's like applying highlight on your face if you do makeup. So jumping into the next, we cover the rest of the face with that color. And there you have it. You have Ma'am Leni's face already done, but we're not yet done with our portrait. We still have her neck and her long sleeve shirt to go. So we're going to outline her long sleeve shirt. For the tops of the people I draw, I'm not really very precise. I actually just like to get the shape and the shadow done, and then we're good. Okay, so you don't have to really focus on that. So just go on and work your way down to the lightest part, and then you're basically done. So that, my friends, is Ma'am Leni's portrait. The last thing you do is to just pick a background color so that you can use this anywhere, anytime. And for me, I chose this very plum color, and voila, there you go. So there you have it. That is Ma'am Leni's portrait. So I'm going to be hitting you up with a before and an after. You can use it on shirts, stickers, pins. For me, I use it for my desktop. So I'll show you my desktop cover right now. Alright, so there in my desktop cover, you can see Ma'am Leni with the month, my schedule for the weeks to come, as well as some colors that I've used in this color palette that I've applied to some of the folders in my desktop, a quote that I've gotten from her Esquire article that I've paraphrased a bit just to kind of help me, you know, throughout this month. So this month's quote is, "Do not lose sight of what you believe in. Drown out the voices because there are bigger battles to fight." And yeah, that's my QPI goal. That's a message that guides me every step of the way. So these are just little things that I do to start every month. This is my first YouTube video ever. This is a milestone for me, so I'm hoping that you can give this a big thumbs up, as well as hit the subscribe button if you would like to see more content like this. Feel free to comment down below whose portrait you think I should do next. This concludes this video. I've said that 3 times, but yeah, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in another video. Thank you, everybody. Bye.